Theranos is set to formally dissolve, according to a new report from the Wall Street Journal. In an email to its shareholders, Theranos CEO and General Counsel David Taylor reportedly says the company plans to pay creditors its remaining cash in the coming months.
The move to dissolve comes as Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes and former Theranos president Ramesh Sunny Balwani await trial on charges of wire fraud. Joining us now to discuss more on this is John Carreyrou, the Wall Street Journal investigative reporter who first broke the story on Theranos back in October 2015, author of the book Bad Blood, Secrets and Lies in a Silicon Valley Startup. Welcome, John. Good to see you. So you're going to have to republish this book. We've got a new ending.
Well, it was an expected ending. I mean, this has been a long time coming, but the writing was on the wall. The remarkable thing is that if you rewind to October 2015, when I published my first investigative story on Theranos, the company still had $400 million in the bank, and it could have called it quits then, and Elizabeth Holmes could have apologized to investors, to patients, to everyone. She had misled and returned that money to shareholders on a pro rata basis, but instead, she dug in her heels, and over the past almost 3 years, she's used that money to hide the ball, to pay lawyers, to thwart litigants, to ward off lawsuits. And unfortunately for her, it hasn't changed the outcome, the predictable outcome, which is the dissolution of the company and the criminal charges that were filed in June.
What do you expect to come of the criminal charges and the case that's being brought?
Well, I guess one open question is whether Elizabeth Holmes and Sunny Balwani, her ex-boyfriend, the ex-number 2 at the company, will seek some sort of plea deal. I think that the chances of that are pretty unlikely. From what I hear, she's telling her friends and her entourage that she's actually looking forward to her day in court, and that she thinks that the real story, her version of the story, will come out at trial, and so she's actually putting on a cheerful face with people she knows and people who've seen her recently, and saying that she's looking forward to see this go to a jury.
How far do you think the kind of impact extends in Silicon Valley in the world of private company financing? Is the mark of having invested in this company or not really asked the right questions going to stick with folks there, or is it just, hey, sometimes you lose some?
I think there are definitely big lessons for Silicon Valley in this scandal. It remains to be seen whether those lessons will be drawn. I've heard a lot of people say, well, look, actually, the sophisticated VCs, especially the ones who had experience in investing in medtech, stayed away. And so actually Silicon Valley, functioned well. But really, there are other things about Silicon Valley, pernicious things about the Valley's culture that came out in this, in particular the founders myth. Which I think we have, unfortunately, Steve Jobs to blame for, this myth that these tech founders are all-knowing and can see around corners and are geniuses without even, finishing their college educations and getting college degrees. I mean, I think that myth has at least been somewhat pierced with the Theranos scandal. And I hope, that people draw that lesson from it.
We have to go, John, but very quickly, the star-studded lineup of investors, do they get anything, or they lose all the money?
They got nothing. The Coxes in Atlanta, the family of Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos, Rupert Murdoch, they lost a total of almost $1 billion.